Sup? Yeah, that's my intro. Hey guys, welcome back. So today I just want to cover 5 mistakes that persist throughout the game that you see players making. Very common mistakes. If you go ahead and get rid of these mistakes, it will help you with your gameplay. The first of those is dealing with PvP aspects of the game. You'll find people utilizing this dichotomy that you find inside the hero formations that you know that vamps are good against werewolves, werewolves are good against mages, mages are good against hunters, and hunters are good against vamps, right? So they'll see that and they'll try to construct an all vamp team when they're playing the PvP aspect of the game. This is what you'll see a lot of people doing, and it really does dampen the actual damage that they're going to do. Don't make that mistake. Also, try not to utilize drivers in the PvP aspect. Try to focus mostly on dealing with your shooters and your fighters. That's the damage and the defense aspects of the game. The next thing that I want to mention is going to be dealing with buildings. So one of the mistakes that you'll find a lot of people doing early in the beginning is not focusing on the mana builds, on building the mana buildings. This is your mana refinery. Of course, in order to build them, you're going to need the crystal mine to be up. But you find people trying to build evenly, or you find them doing just all over the place with their buildings, or some people they focus on just trying to get their town hall up to the next level, which isn't a bad practice in and of itself. However, you want to try to increase your mana buildings with whatever your town hall level is. That the mana buildings, the research building, your at least one of your barracks, and of course your alliance hall and the other building that goes along with it, which is the rally hall. You want to get those at whatever level. You don't really want to focus so much on trying to get every building up. You want to get those buildings. As far as when it comes to your marketplaces, you can get those up. I will say maybe to a level or two below whatever your town hall is, because later in the game you'll notice you have an abundance of money. You will have an abundance of money. You won't be running out as much, and you'll find yourself going out to attack cities for the mana. But if you keep the mana buildings up to the level of your town hall, which includes, of course, your crystal mine, you'll find that your mana will build up, keep building, and you'll have enough to keep your tech at a very good level. Also, when it comes to the workshop, you see here I made one mistake here. I got one of my workshops going to 21. What you have to realize about the workshops is you want to increase them by 5. If you're not going to increase them by 5 levels, then it doesn't make sense to upgrade it at all. You need to be increasing them by 5 levels. The reason why is because for the first 4 levels it's 0%. Then when you get to the fifth level, there's 1%. Then all the way till 9 is still 1%, but then at 10 is 2%. And it's all the way like this until you get to the end, where at 25 you get 5% per building. Now, these workshops are one of the few things that I think is necessary in the game, spending wise. They're one of the few things that's necessary in the game, spending wise. We'll get to that in a moment. You also want to, when it comes to building, you don't have to get to this very quickly, but you do want to start focusing on your city hall and get it so it allows you to be able to get the amount of leadership cap to add as many heroes to there as possible in order to get the management bonuses that comes here. So it's important to get this building up in order to put as many heroes there to get that bonus. But not only that, you want to consistently switch out the heroes according to whatever you're doing. If you're going to be training heroes, you want to put heroes in that focus on training capacity, training speed, resources needed for training. If you still have room, I will recommend that you use things that lower food costs, lower water costs, and also if you still have room, I'll recommend things that increase mana production, then increase food production, then increase water production. Water and food are probably going to be the resources that you're going to need the most later on in the game as you heal a lot of troops. And mana you're going to need specifically for research. So the next thing is going to be spending. The next thing is going to be on spending. When it comes to spending, you don't want to waste your money. One of the first places people go is to the top selling packs. This is in the pack shop. Now, for me, I would recommend that if you're going to spend from the pack shop, that you have a plan to spend around $200. This will be my recommendation. I'm not saying you should go spend $200, but if you're going to spend from the pack shop, be prepared to spend $200. The first pack is going to be 5, the next one is 10, the next one is 20. The minimum I would recommend is $35. Other than that, you're wasting your time getting whatever you're looking for in this area. The stuff that you really might want to spend money on may be the top selling beast, which is a waste of money if you ask me. Instead, go over here to the resource supply place and get the resource you need specifically from this area. This will be my recommendation if you're looking for a resource, as you can choose between which resource. I've went here a lot of times and went mana and got the mana. Also, you will see a great deal when you come to the regular store under hot sales. These aren't always, well, it possibly can be always the same one, but this may be a good place to get your mana. If you just press the button, when it tells you that you need mana, it will be getting it from resources. It will be getting it from the resource prices, which is the same as the hot sale prices. So it doesn't really matter which one you decide to use, because it's 180 for 75,000 and 50 for 15K. So it doesn't really matter. But this to me is better than going ahead and spending actual cash on the resource inside the top selling. But you want to refrain from there as much as possible and go to the VIP area where you will get the most bang for your buck. Especially after you get to VIP level 15 and you're able to get the full 5 million. It's 5 million for 2,500 diamonds. This is the best place to get whatever resource you're looking for. It's the best deal. Even the 500,000 for 600 diamonds is a better deal than you're going to get. But you cannot get mana or money from this area. Another deal that is gone from me because I already purchased would be the Yuri deal. If you had to do one purchase in this game, just one, I would recommend the Yuri deal. The reason why is because you can upgrade Yuri using generic fragments. So because you can use generic fragments in order to upgrade Yuri, his deal is well worth it. Some people choose to go for Lilith. I do not recommend Lilith unless you plan on spending a lot of money. The price for her goes up and up and up. First 2 packs, after spending 99 cents, it's $5 each, then it's $10 each, then it's $20 each, then it's $50 each, and then it's $100 each. So it's not really unless you plan on spending all that money, and then you have to wait until you get to 15 in order to get all the shards to max it out. Yuri, you can use generic shards in order to max them out. The other thing I will also recommend is the Beast development plan. This is a very, very good deal to get inside the game. Starts off already with one legendary, I always call them eggs, but they're fossils. And then it ends with 2 more legendary fossils of level 3 and level 2. This also opens up the amount of slots you can utilize inside your revival center. When you get the big pack, it gives you 4 slots. You can only have 2, up to 2 without that. Lastly, something else that I would tell people to do is decide if this is what you need. Before you go for the power pass, decide if this is what you need. I only buy the power pass currently if it's a beast pass because I'm always looking for the legendary fossils. I know I said lastly, but I do want to mention real quick the monthly supply. This is important because of the mana builders that you have that can only be utilized when you have that pass. The mana and the bank buildings. So these builders right here, the super mana towers and the mana tower, can only be utilized when you have those passes. So that might be something that you may want to consider. And then the pass, they got a good hero in there, Jeff. So once I max it out, I may go ahead and just get the shards. But it isn't something that I would say is a dire need for anyone. Fourthly, I want to speak about, what did I miss? Alliances. I want to speak about the alliances. So it's important that you get into a good alliance early in the game. Just to give you an example of the benefits of an alliance, You see here how my help with the building is level 20 is I have 48 helps that I can get. That's a lot of minutes off of the timer. And if you look at my beast revival, I have 53 so far, but I can take it as high as 70. And I believe with tech, even more than that. So if you're in a small alliance, you're going to lose out on the help you get from that. Also, in small alliances, you lose out in the rewards you get from alliance-based matches. For instance, we have one that's coming up shortly, which is going to be what's the name of it? The Alliance Fest. The Alliance Fest is one of those events in which the alliance is gaining points to reach whatever level it needs to achieve to get the highest amount of rewards. You want to be in a good alliance. A big problem that I've seen with a lot of players is you'll see really good players inside small alliance. When you're in a smaller alliance and you do spend money, you will spend more because your development will be slower. When you're inside of a good alliance, you will spend less. Wow, pardon me for that. Wow, throat got really dry real quick. So when you're in a bigger alliance, you're gonna spend less because you'll be seeing more rewards that you'll be utilizing to develop faster. Some people are just gonna spend no matter what happens. Lastly, I want to talk about the heroes. A big mistake people make when it comes to dealing with the heroes is, first of all, skilling them incorrectly. When I say skilling them incorrectly, there are a lot of different ways to skill them incorrectly. For instance, whenever it comes down to any of your blues and your greens, what they want to call exceptional and rare, whenever you're doing any of those, you only want to focus on the level 2 skill. So if you have shards, let the shards build up and just focus on the level 2 skills until that's max before you do any of the other skills. Why is that? Because you're gonna put them in the garrison. You're gonna bring them over here to garrison, and you're gonna need those actual skills to be able to get the benefit from them. And the higher those skills are, the more benefit you're going to get from that hero. Any hero that you're not going to be utilizing in any capacity, then you only want to focus on the level 2 skill. Now, there are some debates on how to level up other heroes, such as campaign heroes and also PvP heroes. But I can tell you that the very first skill you want to rank up on any fighter hero or any shooter hero is going to be the level 3 skill if you're going to be using him in PvP. The next one, I will recommend the level 4 skill. And this is for generally with the heroes because there are some heroes that have a difference in their makeup. But most heroes are structured the same. The first skill is always majority of the time going to be the dealing with March capacity. The second one, the majority of the time, is going to be um, uh, uh, the garrison, even though here she has March capacity increase. Alexa, she's one of 3 heroes that have that. And then the third one is normally going to be whatever they're dedicated to. In this particular case with Alexa, it's the driver. And then the fourth one is something that's PvP only. This is a PvP only skill. So when you rank it up, it has no effect on campaign. This is why after doing the third skill, you want to move to the fourth skill. The only exception is when that second skill is something like March capacity, like you will find with Yuri or you will find with Susanna. Or in the case of Layla, she has a debuff, which is a very rare skill for her. Her shooter attack is in her second place, and then her third is an enemy attack reduction, which is called a debuff. So you've got a few heroes that's different like that. Jeff is different like that. Also, he has fighter attack for his second skill, and his third skill is dealing with territory defense. So because of that, you may want to change the order for those. So if you're doing PvP, you're gonna focus mostly on skill 3 and then skill 4 before going to 1 and then 2. If you're doing campaign, you want to focus on 1, 3, 2, or 1, 2, 3. You don't really have to focus on 4. So this is something that's very important. The other thing when it comes to hero is dealing with the gear. What you'll find is people there, you'll look at their exceptional heroes and they're filled with gear. Why are they doing that? They're doing that to make their power look bigger than they actually are. Really, it is worthless. Just because you have more power doesn't make you a stronger player. It just makes you look bigger and bulkier. It doesn't improve your team. It doesn't improve your attacking. You're not using any of those heroes. Instead, you're wasting the gear that you can be upgrading to make your heroes that you actually use stronger. So don't waste your gear on heroes you're not actually going to be using. Another problem is people don't really go back. Like for instance, when you're doing your garrison over here inside of your troop buildings, they take heroes, and putting gear on these heroes allows you enough power to activate. But you have to go back as you rank these heroes up. You want to take that gear off because you want to utilize that gear in order to upgrade other gear. So if you can take the gear off in order to and still be able to get all of the buffs that's inside this garrison, then you start taking the gear off. So go back and take off the gear when you're able to. You don't need the fake power, as I like to call it. So that's my video. Hopefully you liked it. As always, like, comment, rate, subscribe.